Good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. It is 7 p.m. in the UK right now, and we're going to have a listen to my new album. It's called Are We There Yet? I've got a nice glass of buttery Chardonnay on the go, and yeah, we're going to go from the start to the finish. Maybe I'll give it a little countdown, so maybe you could all press play at the same time and we can all listen together. So just a little bit about the record and how it was recorded. I'm actually in my studio right now. There's some of the guitars and my bass behind me there. And I made this record in this room pretty much. It's at the back of the house. You have to walk past the coffee machine to get to it, which is all important. You need your coffee before you start recording. I spent a lot of time in America last year. And I think a bit of America has ended up on this record. I heard a lot of music I haven't heard for a long time while I was there. And certain tracks I think have got a bit of that going on. So anyway, we're a minute or so in. So I'm going to press play. I'm going to do a countdown from 10 and then press play and we'll start the record. It starts with a song called Dip in My Feet. So that's what we're going to start with. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press go.
I'll keep on working until the sun goes down. I'll keep on smiling. I'll be a circus clown. I'll keep on smiling, working and smiling.
So all the answers, like working, smiling. It's got Lauren and Dawn on there, which are part of my live band and are amazing and did backing vocals all over the record. But also it's got a few friends in there as well, and anybody who was in the studio that day. So that's kind of nice to have them on there. We crossed over the Mississippi River about 5 or 6 times while we were in America, and it kind of, I think, somehow ended up in my vocab. It just ended up in my language, I think, when it came to making the record. And that little bit there always reminds me of the Rolling Stones, just the way that they do whatever they do with their guitars. So I'm going to get into a few questions. People have been writing in previous to tonight and asking things. So somebody's asked, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night with an idea for a song and have to work on it? I wouldn't say I wake up in the middle of the night, but I definitely wake up first thing in the morning and I'm singing something from the, something that I might have been working on the day before. Or maybe I saw a movie and there was a great soundtrack or a great song in it. And I think it does wake me up a little bit, but not in the middle of the night, thank heavens. It's when I wake up first thing in the morning and I kind of rush down to the studio, put the coffee machine on and then run in here, and then 5 or 6 hours later I might have nailed something. Someone's also asking, how do you choose the singles from the albums? Quite honestly, I don't. I kind of finish the record and hand it over to them that knows best. And we have a chat about it obviously after that, but I don't really get involved in the picking of the singles. I have some feelings on what my favourites are, but it's a joint decision really on what we think might work. So this song is called Letting Go. And really, it's all about the fact that if you want to love someone and you want to have actual emotion with someone, you've just got to let go and actually just let it happen. And that's kind of what it's about.
I'm scared to tell you how I feel.
The opening line says, "I'm scared about telling you how I feel." And bizarrely, most humans are a little bit scared about saying something to another human about how they really, really feel. And sometimes I kind of feel that's the most crazy place we can be in the world, because we need to be more open and we need to let go.
Something that we both know. It's just about letting go. Letting go, letting go.
Okay, another question here is, how do you choose, no, sorry, how would you most like to collaborate, who would you most like to collaborate with? I don't know. That's a really difficult question to answer, because certain other artists that I've met and had a bit of fun with at different festivals and things along the way, in a way there's a joy and there's an experience that you have when you meet someone and mess around and do stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should rush off to the studio and then go and do a record with them or anything. But I'm also still a really, really big fan of music, and certain records I hear, or I go and see a band live and I think, that is amazing. I need to get my head together. I need to make a duets record. That's what I need to do. I need to make a duets record. I need to make a list of all my favourites and then call them up and see if they do it. We've played a couple of songs live from this new album, the new album Are We There Yet already, but we've also had a little rehearsal and played through some of the songs on the record, and it's just such a really nice feeling to actually be in a room with my guys and girls and the crew and everybody and sort of blow through some of the songs and have them kind of come to life a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to that. One question here says, do you get your own songs stuck in your head? Yes. Yes. Thankfully, Never Gonna Give You Up isn't stuck in my head anymore, which is kind of a nice feeling after all these years, to be honest. It's usually ones that I've just started working on, so yeah. We've got a question that says, what have you been listening to lately apart from your new album? I've been listening to Take That's new single. Gary very kindly let me have a listen to it before it came out, and I just love it. I think it's really, I toured with those guys, I opened up for them some years ago, and I really love it. I think it's quite different. Windows it's called, and I just really love it. I think it's a new them, it's a different them, and I really, really like it. This is called Golden Hour, and it's probably one of the most simple songs on the record, but I kind of really, really like it for that reason. It's like Route 1 songwriting. And my wife and I have been together for a very long time. And it's kind of like, I feel we're in a golden hour, we're in a golden moment right now. We've had some amazing things happen recently in the last 10 years, I guess. Well, all our lives, but in the last 10 years it's gone a bit crazy. And I feel we're in a really good spot, and I think we have to own that, and we have to enjoy that and appreciate that, and that's kind of what the song is about. I can dream about you. You're always in my dreams. Somebody called Alan has asked, what's the quickest song you've ever written? I think the song previous to this, the Letting Go, was pretty fast, to be honest. Because like I said, I think some of the things are so kind of locked into what I'm feeling at that time that the lyrics write themselves. Sometimes they're pretty simple as well. And I think there's a joy in pop music about it being simple sometimes. I'm not really embarrassed about that. I think that's a great thing. So yeah, I think maybe Letting Go was probably one of the quickest, I think. Philip is asking, has your approach to writing changed over the years? Or how has your approach changed, he's saying. I think having this room and having this studio at the back of the house makes me feel that this is my little space to just come and forget the world and just throw myself into just enjoying music. And I've always loved music, and it's kind of put me in some great spaces over the years. But the way technology's gone, you can actually have a studio and literally make records in your garage. And I've been doing that now for the last 3 albums. And I think that's the main way that it's changed, is that it's in my hands to actually come in here and actually do it. I play pretty much all the instruments, I do all the playing, all the sorting out. And I think that's kind of, yeah, I love that about it, I really do. Lucy is asking, do you ever get bored of singing certain songs? You mean Never Gonna Give You Up, don't you? I don't get bored of them, no, because I kind of think they're part of who I am. They're part of my DNA, and they've put me in amazing places. And I also feel that without the old songs, I can't do the new songs. It's kind of like a marriage. It works together when we go and play live. It's like, I can't just turn up and play new ones. I have to play the old ones. And I've found a love for that. I've found like a real way of feeling good about both of them. So. This is called Never Gonna Stop. Yeah. Tell me this life has a meaning. Is it written in all our stars? Never gonna turn it back. Never gonna. So the video for this song, it was the second singles. The video for it, my wife and I shot on a beach in Denmark, and we did it on a phone, and then kind of edited it, and it was the most simple video in the world, but it does the job. And then the crazy thing is, in a few songs time, I'm going to play you a song called Forever and More, which is going to be the next single, and the video for that is on a totally different scale. Because we have Simon Pegg directing that, which is a world unto itself, and just an amazing couple of days doing that, and a lot of fun. And because it's Simon Pegg, he brings a caliber of people to work in the crew that have been working with him on a giant movie franchise that I'm sure you all know, called Mission Impossible. So that was amazing. Yeah, crazy. And this song is kind of about the fact that technology has gone so far that I'm sometimes struggling to find my place in the world because of how fast the world is moving. And it isn't going to stop doing that. It's always going to stop spinning at that speed and things moving on that quickly. And somehow you've just got to find your way of being a human in all of that. And whatever technology we've got and whatever AI throws at us or anything, we still got to find a way of being us. We've got to find a way of being a person and a human being and have that connection and love. All the things that computers haven't worked out yet. I don't think a computer can love yet. I don't think so anyway. And it certainly doesn't know what a good Chardonnay is. Okie dokie. That was Never Gonna Stop. And this is Close.
Let me know just how you feeling. Let me know your pain or joy. Let me walk in your shoes. Feel a life I've never known. Feel a life I've never known.
One of the hardest things I find in life is to understand how somebody else is feeling. And sometimes I kind of feel that I can't actually get close to people I really care about in my life because it's very hard to put yourself in their shoes. It's really hard to kind of actually understand what they're going through. Because I think that is one of the hardest things in life to do. We can empathise and we can have love for someone, but it's really hard to really grasp what they're going through. And that is what this song is about, really, is that if I could turn a switch and just feel what it feels like to really go through what their emotions are doing to them, I would feel close to them, and that's kind of what this song is about.
Tell me why you keep secret. Tell me why you have to hide. Tell me why you keep me out of a life that I've never known, a life that I have never known. Feels like you're wounded like a soldier, soldier. I know you're broken to the bone, to the bone, to the bone. And so much feels like life is over, over. You gotta let me in. You gotta let me in. I want to be close. Don't wanna be strangers.
There's a line about wanting to be close and not wanting to be strangers, and I perhaps shouldn't be saying this, but I've had a glass of Chardonnay now, so I said before that my wife and I have known each other for 30 something years, and I can have this feeling with my own family, my own brothers and sister as well, that even though you've known somebody all your life, sometimes it's hard to actually just really open up to somebody, and I kind of hate that. As I'm getting older, that's the last thing I want. I don't want to feel like a stranger to the people that I really, really care about.
I want to be close. Don't wanna be strangers. Wanna be near to you. Yeah, I wanna be close. Away from the danger. Wanna be close. Yeah, I wanna be close to you.
Next song is High Enough. I'll talk about that in a second. Just want to get to one of the questions here. It says, do you still buy other artists' records? What was the last one you bought? That's an interesting one. I haven't actually bought a record for a while, which is a terrible thing to say. I stream a lot. I listen to new music all the time. I Shazam music all the time. I come across stuff obviously on social media where, you know, that's one of the biggest way artists promote their new songs, obviously on all the different platforms. And ironically, stuff that makes me kind of thoughtful or even makes me laugh then turns me on to kind of thinking like, I need to go and listen to that properly. So then I'll go and stream the whole album or what have you. So I do stream a lot. I just haven't bought a record for a long time, I don't think. Which is weird, and I have to change that, I think. I think I have to buy some more records. I think that's what I have to do. Okay, I've got a question for you lot then. What record should I buy? Ooh. Come on.
We will see those pretty lights forever, never, ever, never till we reach high.
So I'm playing High Enough right now. That's where we are on the album, track 6. And the kind of meaning of the song, really, or the feel and everything, is about throughout life, you can either aim for the stars or not. And sometimes I've looked back at my life, I'm 57 years old, and I've looked back and I've said, well, did I actually really go for it? Did I really go and reach as high as I could? And I'm not embarrassed to say that I don't always do that. I think people around me, on my behalf, sometimes reach for the stars for me. I know my record label do, and my management do, and the people that, you know, I work with, crew and band and everything, they probably reach a little bit higher than I do sometimes. And I kind of get caught up in that and go on the journey with them. And I don't know whether that's false modesty or what it is, but I sometimes feel that as long as it makes me happy and I'm enjoying it, we don't need any more than that. We don't actually need anybody else to say, yeah, you reached high enough. You know what I mean? It's not a competition. Yeah, that's a weird one actually, but it's kind of about, did we reach high enough? Did we actually go for our goals? Did we really go for it? Lovely. So, next song in is Forever and More. There will be a new video coming to this very soon.
You came into my life like a hurricane, blowing all the grief away like a storm. And you were bad, but you were good. You never did the things you should. And you were wrong, but you were right. You said we only get one life, and I said you were much too much. You drove me crazy.
There's a question here which says, how long do you spend singing and playing each day? That really varies, obviously. I mean, weeks can go by when I don't sing or play at all because we might be on holiday or doing something else, and it's nice to take a break from it. But when we're home, I tend to end up in this room at some point in the day and pull a guitar out, sometimes sit at the piano, and just noodle and just play because I like doing it. It's still my hobby is my kind of, I'm going to laughingly call it a job, but my hobby is my job as well. So. So like I say, we shot the video for this a couple of days ago, last week, and it was a lot of fun. I don't want to say too much because I'd like you to just see it, but it was a lot of fun doing it, and I'm really excited to see it. Okay, someone's asking, am I excited to go on tour? Do bears poop in the woods? Of course I'm excited to go on tour. It's kind of one of the most amazing things. It's like running away with the circus, or, you know, joining a gang of pirates. It's like, it's one of the best things ever. One of the things I've always loved is arriving at the venue too early and seeing how hard the crew work and what they're up to. Most people never get a chance to see that. I mean, obviously you can see bits of everything now, one way or another, but because of social media and stuff. But when you go to a gig of any size, actually, but if you go to a slightly bigger gig, obviously maybe even an arena, you would be amazed at the work that's gone on before the band get anywhere near the place. Before a note is played, people work their asses off. And I've always kind of had a massive admiration, but also a kind of a weird sort of thing about that. On the one hand, I'd love to be part of a crew at some point. I'm probably not tough enough, to be honest, but yeah, I just love the whole thing about touring, and I love the whole thing about, like I say, when you arrive in a venue and everything's ready, and like we just get up and we get to be under the coloured lights and do all the beautiful stuff. But it's amazing what people do to put a show on, and we must never forget that, because so I salute all the crews around the world for everything that you do. Thank you. This next song is called Driving Me Crazy, and for me it has a double meaning, and anybody in a relationship can probably understand this, and that is that the person that you're with, that you love, drives you crazy in two ways.
Nobody taught me how to love. That never made me feel like giving up.
Naomi is texting in, writing in anyway, to say, can you explain the meaning behind the concept of "Are we there yet?" It certainly relates to being on a bus in America for 3 months last year. I got invited to be on the mixtape tour, New Kids on the Block's mixtape tour, with On Vogue and Salt and Pepper, and it was absolutely amazing. And if you went to one of the shows, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Really good fun, a great vibe, but a lot of miles. I'm talking about a lot of miles. The guys did 56 dates in America, 56 arenas, and I've never really done a tour like that. It was bonkers, it was crazy. But amazing, really good fun. And we kept going to the front of the bus and saying to our driver, Nat, who has worked with us a few times, Nat, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because obviously the distances in America are just huge sometimes. But it was a beautiful tour in so many ways, and one of the ways was that we actually got to see quite a lot of America that even most Americans don't get to see. When you're driving across some of the kind of bigger states right in the middle of America especially, you can go kind of like all day, and the scenery is beautiful and gorgeous, but not a lot changes. Not a lot changes from like where you left to where you're going. And there's a kind of side to that, a completely different angle to it, is the fact that I am 57 and I wonder sometimes, am I there yet? Is it, you know, do I have to question when do you think enough is enough? Have I kind of filled my batteries enough to say I'm done with making records or playing live or whatever it is in life? And I think I've sort of come to the conclusion after thinking about that title so many times now, that you're never done really. There's always something over the next horizon. So that's a kind of a nice feeling as well. So.
Just me and my baby. We are that kind of baby. You're driving me crazy. You're driving me crazy. Just me and my baby.
So I've got a question here that says, is there a different music genre that you'd like to try singing or writing? I'm kind of a closet rocker, really. I know that's a bit of a stretch for most people to think about, but I kind of started by playing drums. The next song is song 9, by the way, if you're following with us. It's called Maria Love. I love the intro to this. And there's real brass on this, which is such a treat. Yeah, so I started by playing drums, and I still, I think, gravitate towards great drummers. I've been lucky enough to play at a bunch of festivals in the last 10 years or so, and been really up close sometimes to some of the world's greatest drummers. And I still kind of have a a romantic view of what the drummer is and what the drummer does. I basically believe that if you've got a really great drummer, then you've got a chance of having a great band or a great record. Without that, you got nothing. And a lot of the records that I played along to as a kid were rock records. Most notably for me was Highway to Hell by AC/DC, that album. It's an incredible album anyway. The songs are amazing, the production's great because it's sort of really powerful, simple, it's very direct, and the drum tracks on that record are just unbelievable. And anybody out there, don't take my advice obviously, but anybody out there who wants to learn to play the drums, you do well to learn while playing the album that is Highway to Hell by AC/DC, because it's before the days of like computers and super technology, so it's drum takes, and it's a human being playing the drums in an absolutely phenomenal way, and the feel of it is just so in the pocket and so fantastic. It's amazing. So if I was to ever sort of veer off into another genre of music, for fun that is, I'd quite like to, would I? Yeah, I'd quite like to make a rock record one day, but maybe not under my name. Maybe under some very, very strange pseudonym, I don't know. And maybe have some of my favourite drummers come and play drums on it, of which there are many. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I watched the Beatles documentary, the Let It Be thing. I've watched it twice already, and I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. It's such an insight into that period of time in the world in generally, but definitely into the life of the Beatles and where they were at, and a lot of rumours that have gone on for years and years and years. And you look at those guys, and they're still laughing, they're still giggling. Yes, there's tension about certain things, but they're still having an amazing time and creating some of the most incredible music we've ever heard. And there's a line in that song that I'm just playing at the moment about, it says "For and a Friend played on a rooftop," and it's about that rooftop gig. Because I remember as a kid seeing that footage sometimes as I was really young and just thinking, the Beatles are on a roof, this is the craziest thing in the world. And I was tiny, by the way, but my sister was a massive Beatles fan, and I'm not sure the first time I even saw that footage, to be honest. It was probably years after that, but it just, I don't know, it stuck with me, I think, and it's ended up on a record, and there you go. So this is a song called "Take Me Back to Your Place," and the lyric in the chorus is a bit risque. It isn't actually about me, obviously. It's an imaginary person who meets somebody one night and has a bit of a...
There's nothing left for me, only shadows on the walls from yesterday. There's nowhere left to be, something that was special.
There's a tiny bit of Motown in this song, I think, in the way that I produced it. And we were in Detroit last summer, and I've been there a couple of times, and I've been to the Motown Museum in Detroit, and it's a pretty amazing thing to do. It's not a working, functioning studio right now, but you can feel it was, you can sense it was, you can kind of even smell that it was, and it's an amazing place to go. I think going there again and listening to certain albums when I was in America and streaming different stuff. When I got back home and back into this room, I kind of allowed myself to sort of indulge myself in adding a little bit of, tiny bit of Motown into some of the songs, and it definitely ended up on this one.
Sing along, but I lose my pitch. The grooves in the vinyl have turned to cracks, but the music that we lost is coming back. Take me back to your place. Play me on records like we used to do. Take me back to your place. Yes. Fix me up a dream, or maybe two. Throw me on the sofa, tie me to a chair. Scratch me with your nails and pull my hair. Take me back to your place. Give me
Question here, it says, what's the first and last track you wrote for Are We There Yet? I actually think the first one that I finished was Dipping My Feet, which is the first track on the record and was the first single. And I think, I'm not sure exactly why I finished that first, but I think it just had a feel that was really comfy and really easy about it. And it just felt good to nail one and say, right, that's done. I'm making a record again. The last one, I'm not even sure, to be honest, because they all kind of like did this at the end, where they all start to influence each other and things start to change a little bit, because even lyrically sometimes you think, well, I've kind of already said that in that song, so I need to find a way of interpreting this, and I don't know, it turns into a bit of a, it's like a soup that you make, I think, when you're making an album, and you've got to get everything right and getting it all kind of feeling the ingredients together, and nothing too strong and nothing too weak and nothing too... So I couldn't tell you what I finished last. Yeah. So we're on track 11 at the moment. This song is called Waterfall. And I guess the meaning of it really is that wherever and whatever place you're in life, we're all kind of under like a, well, I called it a waterfall in this song, and sometimes that waterfall is lovely and amazing and gorgeous and feels great, and it feels like you're under a waterfall in the Caribbean or something, and it's like, oh, this is amazing. And other times it feels like it's drowning you and you're never going to get out from under it, and that is kind of what the song is about. But sorry, I'm just listening to the words. There's a thing about that we all need a little healing, and I don't care who you are and what you are and what's going on in your life, there's always one thing that needs fixing. There's always one thing that needs a bit of healing. And that's kind of the sentiment, I think, in it really, that even when you are under a beautiful Caribbean waterfall, life is still not perfect. Life isn't perfect. It never will be perfect for anybody. There's actually some lyrics in here about my mum and my dad, and I've never really spoken about that before, so I must be getting old. I'm crying at cat videos, and I'm writing songs that have got my mum and dad in them. I must be getting old. So, one track to go. We've only got one left. That went quick, didn't it? That went quick. This is called Blue Sky.
I hide the way I really feel. I'm turning in a spinning wheel. I'm fraying at the edge.
The vocal on this song is kind of a bit strange, because I finished the lyrics to it, and it was really, really early in the morning. I've got a bit of a croaky voice right now, actually, but I got in this room really early and just kind of nailed the last bit of the lyric, and I wanted to put it down before I lost the emotion of it. So I just sang it, and my voice wasn't warmed up. I wasn't warmed up. There's nothing warmed up. So I just thought, well, I'll just sing it in that low octave, almost like I'm talking it. And anyway, went and had a walk round, got a coffee somewhere, came back, listened to it, and I kind of thought, there's something in that. There's an emotion in that I really, really like. Played it to my wife, played it to a few friends that I play stuff to, and they all liked it down there as well and felt that it was kind of like true. It felt like honest. So I've kind of kept it, and it only goes up into the octave that I would normally sing in later on in the song. So, and a lot of the lyric, I think, came from being in lockdown and that feeling of that we all wanted to be released and float off into the blue sky.
There's something in the atmosphere I thought forever gone. The birds sing a song of spring, oblivious to the joy they bring. How can they be wrong?
Those lines there about it says the birds sing a song of spring, oblivious to the joy that they bring. And I think a lot of people obviously really suffered and struggled with lockdown and COVID. I don't feel I did struggle, if I'm honest. I don't feel guilty about that, but I don't feel comfortable about it because I had a very comfortable lockdown, and that's not something to brag about. It's just, I'm just trying to be honest. But one thing I did realise was that I kind of felt slightly more connected. It sounds so pompous, but slightly more connected to the world that we actually live in, because the world felt as scary, as terrible as it was. Just going for a walk felt a lot more natural, because there weren't cars on the streets, there weren't planes in the sky. The world had stopped for a little bit, and it kind of sort of felt really precious, I think. So that's it, Blue Sky. That's the last track on the album. That's the last of my Chardonnay. That was timed to perfection. Look at that. There's one gulp left. Cheers. I didn't plan that. It's just gone into Never Gonna Give You Up. So I didn't plan that. I'm going to turn it off. Am I going to turn it off? No, I'm not going to turn it off. Cheers. Thanks for joining in. Here's to you. Lots of love. I'm dancing out of my own what have you. Technically, is that a Rickroll? Is that a Rickroll? It's not a planned Rickroll. I didn't plan this. There it is in all its glory. Are we there yet? New album. Thanks for listening. Lots of love. Take care.